Hey ho! Fancy meeting you here. It wouldn't be a MAME Meister live stream if I didn't. Oh, I'm going to say if I didn't fuck up within about the first couple of minutes. Bloody hell! Anyway, listen, Colin. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was looking at the comments there, and Lewis was saying this is a surprise, and Colin said not as big as mine. I literally made what ran past? I wonder what the hell that was. I thought you've got a massive rat that just ran past. It's your cat.
It's a cat. He's having one.
The problem is I could only see the white part, so it looked like a kind of rat. I couldn't see the top part of it. So anyway, I messaged Colin literally about 5 minutes ago, and I said, "Are you free?" And he went, "Yep." I goes, "Are you free for 45 minutes?" He went, "Yep." I goes, "Are you free in 2 minutes?" I've got to say, I'm a lucky boy. The fact that I can just call upon my mates like that and people are ready to jump in. There you go. Disco lights and everything. By the way, I have, following on from yourself and Panther's green screen, I decided to treat myself to a green screen off eBay. The only thing is, it arrived today. I'm convinced, I need to double check. I'm sure you're meant to get the framework with it.
Yes.
But looking at it, all I've sent me is like a large, what looks like a cover to go over a table. It's green.
Yeah,
and I've got
hangs on the frame.
What's that?
That's the thing that hangs on the frame.
Aye, but it looks like they've not sent me the frame. I mean, I can bend it, and surely the framework's going to be. Would it be made of metal or something? Would it be made of plastic?
It's almost the same as lampstands. The studio lampstand.
Well, you know what? In fact, let me just for one little sec. Sorry, I shouldn't be doing this on a Friday waffle, but needs must. I'm going to go in and look at my auction and see what the hell they're talking about, because it's not much point in it's like sending somebody a car tires and not including the rest of the car. Wait a wee minute. So how are you anyway, Cole? You all right?
Yeah, been good today.
I take it you weren't working. Were you very working today? No.
No work. No work until Wednesday now.
All right, good. There again, yeah, you do. I mean, I complain like a big girl that I have to get up at 6:30. You're up at what, 2:00 in the morning or something?
Wednesday I start at 3:30. That'll be up at 1:30.
Wow. Wow. I don't know how you can do that, mate. Right, just give Right, wait a wee minute. Right, here we go. Right, in fact, I'm going to share it. I'm going to share the screen. How do we remove? There we go. I'm going to go bunk. There you go. There is said green screen.
Only green background with get my teeth in. Only green backdrop with clip. It doesn't have this.
I didn't even notice that, but
yeah. If you get the frame, it usually costs about 30 quid more.
Right. I'm just thinking I could probably come up with something, right? Yeah, right, okay, there you go. You've answered my question, damn it. Anyway, because I'm sure I looked down the bottom and it said, what does it say in the description? Yeah, look, backdrop stand kit.
Yeah. If you go back up,
yeah,
and you if you look at the model, click on the model, and you'll see selections which will give you the full kit, and it'll change the price on it.
Right. Balls. All right.
Oh no, it's just the backdrop there. There's the backdrop stand. Is that the backdrop stand? Yeah, backdrop stand. There we are. You could. They sell the same thing.
I thought it was a bit cheap for 17 quid.
Yeah. That's about the right price for a backdrop stand.
Is it right? Yeah. No, you know what? I'll not buy it right now, but I need to buy it then. I can't very well use. But hang on, I'm just going to. I'll jump back to that and I'll buy it now. Then hang on a second, buy it now. Bloody hell! I've probably done myself out of money because it's probably cost me more, or I've probably got less, or got it for cheaper. Is that not a bad price?
That's not a bad price. That's the going rate. It's the going rate.
Right, confirm and pay. There we go. You don't get many YouTube channels that do live purchases on eBay. There we go. Delivery estimate the 14th of June. So for next Friday,
14th of June,
I may be coming from a beach in the Caribbean. Man. Anyway, yeah, good stuff. So listen, Cole, thanks for tuning in. And more importantly, thank you to the 10 people that are actually watching this. There has been no ad. Good evening, Tony. How are we, Squire? I meant to say, Tony, I noticed, in fact, Colin, did you buy, I think you bought Tony's book.
I did.
I think you did. I know there's been about 3 or 4.
To get it. Hang on a sec.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, I noticed, Tony, there's been a few people buying your book, which is excellent. I'm glad to see that. I was telling Colin, nice one. I was telling Colin I had to kind of cut our video by about 20 minutes because your Wi-Fi signal is just pish. You kept freezing all the time, and I didn't want to kind of reduce it in size, but it was just kind of, there was too much kind of me talking to myself. But yeah, have you started it yet, Colin? Have you started the book? Not yet.
I've been working all the time since I got it, so not yet.
Oh, great. Wee Bob's.
I've had a quick look through and the way the photographs are integrated with the book is pretty damn impressive.
Aye, I mean, what I thought was really nice about the book was Tony goes into the infinite detail. There's so much stuff that he talks about, and other people talk about, Dave Toyer and that can he talk about, that you'd have never known, and there's a lot of photographs that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great. So good stuff. Anyway, yeah, so listen, Cole, thanks for joining me tonight. There is absolutely hee-ho of an agenda. I'll probably have to cut it short. Probably have to go about quarter to 10 even. Quarter to 10. I'm meant to be going through my girlfriend's tonight. I was meant to be going through tomorrow morning, but she's got a guy coming to look at her windows, and he's going to be there at bloody 9:30 in the morning. I'm like, I need to go through tonight then, so doesn't matter. So anyway, yeah. So how are you, Cole? Apart from everything, Happy New Year to you, by the way.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year to everybody watching as well.
Was it a quiet one?
It was one of those 4:30 start in the morning ones at work.
Of course you were. That's right.
Woken up at midnight by World War III breaking outside the door. But yeah.
Really? Oh, wow. I must admit, I mean, I'm not a fan of New Year at all. Not a fan of New Year at all. I used to be when I was younger, and you could go to parties and things like that. Back in the 80s, you basically got a carry out, and you could just walk about with your mullet and your hair sprayed hair, and you just looked, or you didn't look. You didn't look for a party. You just listened for a party, and you could hear music playing, and you'd knock on the door. 8 times out of 10, they'd just let you in. You know, nobody actually cared. Nowadays, you would phone the police.
I spy a Billy Connolly joke there.
Aye, that's smart. That's the thing is, Billy Connolly gets all the credit for being really funny, but he's you know what? I've met 1,000 Billy Connollys in real life. Because he's got the ability, I wouldn't even say he's got the patter. He's just got the ability to take something he talks about real life. He talks about everything that he's done. It's just, you know, don't get me wrong. He can tell a joke, and he can say something that if I was to tell you, it wouldn't be funny at all. But Billy Connolly, there's 1,000 Billy Connollys out there. You know what I mean? That cat's just grown in size, by the way, mate. I don't want to tell you that. I don't know what it's eating, but it's
just changed to a dog.
Do you get all your pets that have got to be white at the bottom and darker at the top? Is that
no, we got one that's completely black. One of the cats is completely black.
Oh, he might have passed by and I didn't even know.
She'll probably go by without anybody noticing.
But what was I talking about? But I'm not a fan of New Year at all. And I mean, I was off for, I think it was 10 days, and it was brilliant. I mean, just not having to get up for work. Went back to work on Monday. Got to say my work. Not a good week. Not a good week. One of these ones you're like, you know what I mean. But the thing is, these things, they're always temporary. They're always temporary. You know what I mean. You just have to kind of roll the sleeves up and roll with it, as they say.
Get on with it. It'll pass.
Get on with it. I know.
The light is at the end of the tunnel. That's usually a train coming the other way, but there we go.
Thing is, though, I mean, who was that? Yeah, what the hell was I watching? I was watching something. Was it YouTube? Or I don't know. Or it might have been one of these stupid. You know, you get all these people on Facebook, and they just post all these really obnoxious, you know, I know, mental health. No. Please post this if you like it, and then it'll help people.
Oh.
I know the top 5 people of my friends who will read this, who will read right to the bottom. I'm like, delete. There's a lot of shit.
Somebody posted one the other day, and my comment was, I'm the vaccine to these viral posts. It's not going further than me.
You know, the ones that this poor baby's dying of cancer. If it gets 100,000 likes, then Microsoft are going to donate £50,000. If you're really that stupid, then you know what I mean. Just nonsense. But anyway, it was one of these nuggets of wisdom that somebody said, and I actually thought, well, that's true. They said that if you went into a room with another 100 people and you wrote your problem on a piece of paper, and then everybody put their piece of paper in the middle, and then you went and you picked 10 random ones, like that's your 10 problems. You can pick what problem you want to have. See, you guarantee if you had the choice, you'd probably pick your own one and then fuck off.
Yeah, you know your own problems, don't you?
I don't get me wrong. There's, everybody's got problems, and I mean, people will say, maybe somebody will say, oh, I heard somebody at work and they were complaining about their 5G doesn't work very well. Well, my uncle just died of leukemia yesterday, and they're complaining about their phone. And you say, well, yeah. And if I was to say to you, my uncle passed away yesterday, and you went, well, you think that's bad? My phone can't get 5G. You'd think, well, you're a bit of an idiot. But at the end of the day, when your life is going well, I sound like what's that guy? No, not the British version. Not Jerry. What's he called? Jerry used to have the Jerry Thingy show. Springer.
Oh,
Jerry Springer.
yeah,
He does. He's like he preaches. But
Jeremy Kyle.
Jerry, no, I'm not Jeremy Kyle. I'd rather be Jerry Springer. I look more like Jeremy Springer. Oh, there's a black cat.
There's more of them.
What was that? I can't even remember what I was talking about. I've no idea. But yeah, and we all have ups and downs, and then the bizarre thing is, it's really, really weird. I mean, I think my life's pretty good. I think I'm very blessed. I've got a job. I've got good friends. I've got my health. I'm a bit overweight at the moment, but I can get that. I can get rid of that. All in all, I'm doing pretty well. It's all right. In you come. In you come. You're not live. Do you want me to stick you off for 2 seconds, Colin?
No, it's all right.
Are you sure? I can take you off camera just for 2 seconds, so your missus can come and get a drink of juice or something.
Oh, he's all right. He's all right. He's feeding the animals.
But I think I'm very, very fortunate, very, very lucky in my life. I've had ups and downs like everybody to deal with, some pretty horrible things. But sometimes I find if I'm off for a fortnight in the summer and it's like I've not got any work and I've just been paid, I'm like, great, my life's really, really nice. Sometimes I start worrying and I can actually sometimes physically feel, I've actually seen myself, I don't know, being in a shop and I'm queuing up and I can feel like it's almost like anxiety comes over me, just waiting to talk to somebody to say, hey, can I get, I don't know, excuse me, can I get whatever it is? And yeah, you can be in a job. My job can be quite stressful and I'm absolutely fine. And I go in front of people on YouTube and talk pish for an hour. And it doesn't faze me at all. But sometimes when you've got really, it's all kicking off now. How many cats have you got?
5.
That's our black one. We got 5.
Blimey.
5, 1 dog.
I'm sure I counted 6 a minute ago. I think they're breathing, but anyway. But it's bizarre. I think it's I think we need, as human beings, we always need something to get uptight about. And sometimes when everything's going great, then you focus on the negatives. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I got to be honest. I'm working, so I'm not trapped in the house through this lockdown. Sometimes you get stressed out about how other people are treating everything. But all in all, I'm doing quite well. I'm actually making something of myself at last, and it's really good. Life is, on the whole, pretty good. Even though the last few months have been, life on itself has been pretty good.
Aye. You're rich. You and I are both extremely rich. Not a lot of money, but we've got our health, we've got friends, we've got food on the table, and you've got your son who feeds the cats, so that's a double bonus.
My favourite part each day.
I hope you do have plenty of pocket money, by the way, Colin, yeah?
Oh, he's got his own. He's 20 now.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, sorry, I'm digressing. I'm just talking shite as usual. Good evening, Dave, Mr. Charlie Farr, Mr. It doesn't matter what kind of game you play. Is Dave still taking? I'm going to ask you, Colin, rather than Dave, because there's a lag of about 10 seconds. Is Dave still taking part in the kerfuffles, or is he not at the moment?
Not often. You need to be in there, Dave. You need to be in there.
Well, he's got a few big hitters. I mean, Mark Blaster, Sick Boy, and there's, I think, is there one
10 Shearers.
Sorry?
10 Shearers.
10 Shearers, yeah. And I think, is it Lewis's, is it Juffer or something he's called? He's
Big Juffer.
Aye,
he's doing quite well as well.
He's quite handy at games as well, I noticed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's a bit, no offence, but he's a bit of an old bloke like myself, and he's got no right to be quite good at games. So what is the game for this week?
Defender.
Oh, really?
Which is fun on the keyboard.
What's your highest scoring defender then?
I got almost 35,000, which has actually got me at the moment third place in the table.
That's not bad. So how many levels is that?
Fourth level.
That's pretty good. Yeah. That's pretty good. That's not bad. Go on then, Dave. What's your highest at defender? You'll say he's not very good. He's only on like 2 million or something. Actually, you know John Studley, John's Pac-Man extraordinaire.
Yeah.
John, one of John's pals asked him about 6 months ago, could you teach me how to play Pac-Man? So about 6 months ago, he started playing Pac-Man. Do you know the guy's now got over 1 million? He's now got over 1 million, and he's only been playing like 6 months. So I think you've got to be. I think you've got to have a bit of skill for. You've got to be quite talented, but just goes to show. I mean, the guy's been. John's been kind of tutoring them, but to get 1 million points. I mean, I don't know if Tony's still in the stream. Tony, if you're still in the stream, I would be interested to know. I mean, they reckon. I think the average player who's never if you put 10 pence into an arcade game, they reckon the average player will last about maybe between 40 seconds and maybe 2 minutes. I mean, maybe Space Invaders, if you head underneath the bunkers, you could probably stretch it to a couple of minutes if you were absolutely crap. Defender, probably 40 seconds, I'm guessing, if you'd never played it before.
I put 35 credits in, and I ended the stream after an hour. Well, 55 minutes of actual gameplay. I think I ended the stream with 8 left.
I
got over 30,000 a couple of times as well with that, mind.
What's that?
I got over 30,000 a couple of times with that.
Oh, that's good. So I think your dog just ate the cat's dinner. I'm trying to see.
No, he's finished his own. He's finished his own.
It's like when I've got Del Boy on, I tend to spend more time looking at what Del's got on his TV in the background. And I'm sure 99% of the viewers watch Del's telly as well. Sorry, Tony's just saying there. Yeah, I'll just bring up Tony's comment. There we go. Arcade business model back in the day was based around getting players off the machine within 90 seconds. I know games like Galaxian. I mean, that just, I'm not. I mean, not that I'm good at all, but when I played Galaxian back in the day, it was just, I loved it so much, but it was the most difficult game ever. All I would do is I would go right to the side to try and not die, and that's suicide. Absolute suicide. Yeah, but I mean, Tony was talking about in his book that, the average player will, maybe get, what they would maybe get, maybe 3,000-4,000 at Missile Command, and then decent players can get maybe 40,000, and then when you go beyond that, that's when you get into the realms of being very, very good. And I suppose it's a bit like Defender. I mean, 35,000 is not a bad score, and I'm sure most. In fact, Tony, again, if you could maybe tell me, what is there a sort of formula that producers, game companies use for figuring out difficulty? Because obviously, if you had the first level way too hard, I don't know what that dog's doing. Oh, he's scratching himself. I thought he was doing something else there for a second.
He wants to go in the room.
What was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a very, very fine line. And it's the same with I suppose it's the same with games that you buy for the home. If anything, it's probably harder to get that, because an arcade game is designed to make money, and Tony talks about that. They were never designed to be particularly addictive, or certainly not. You shouldn't be able to play a video game, an original arcade cab 40 years later, because it wasn't designed for that. But yeah, it's a fine line between being too difficult and being too hard. I suppose an arcade game being way too difficult, that's not so much a problem. That's probably a good thing, as long as it's got the hook in you. Defender, you put your money in, it's like, and you've just got you've got the awesome sound, and you think suddenly you think you're you think you're Buck Rogers, and then boom, and within about 30 seconds it's game over, and you put another 10 pence in. Whereas maybe if it was, I don't know, some real crap looking game, you probably wouldn't bother. But yeah, the arcade has got to drag you in, and it's got to hold you. It's got to be nice enough to make you think, I'm going to have another shot and go have another shot. When it comes to like a commercial game, and that's what I've always, not commercial game, a home version, I've always thought that arcade games are not really the best games to convert to the arcade, because I mean, I do obviously the arcade perfect my arses, and you go, oh, it's way too difficult, but oh, way too easy. If a game was too easy, then can you imagine? Case in point, Street Fighter and Amiga. I've recounted this tale many a time. Me and my mate, we used to take turns. We would chip in, buy a game, one game, and then he would pick. We would both decide, right, this month we're going to get Street Fighter. He would get to keep the game. I want to watch there, obviously. And then the next month, right, we'll buy Bubble Ghost. It's my game. So it was his turn. We went into Edinburgh, bought Street Fighter, and then got back in the bus. I told him, go and you stick the kettle and I'll load the game up. And by the time he came back, I'd completed the game. And I says, oh, and by the way, it's shit. And it's your game.
Yeah, there's got to be a balance in anything, isn't there?
What's that?
There's got to be a balance on everything. I mean, arcade, as you say, is out there to make the money. But on a home computer, it's still going to have some sort of difficulty, because if you complete it too quickly, it's a waste of money. You need, but it also can't be too difficult where you hit a wall and you just can't get past it. You should be able to. It should have a nice balance. So when you get to a difficult part, you can work out how to work past it, and then that becomes a wall you've climbed.
Aye.
And then you get the next wall, which you can do again. And
it's a bit like climbing Everest. You get to base camp, then you can get to the death zone, and then you're trying to aspire to get into the thing where, right? Yeah, what's Tony saying here? Let's have a look. I'd say home console games are designed to ease you in and hold your hand initially. Yeah, arcade games were all about making money. They didn't want players. Yeah, and of course, when guys like Tony came along and started getting good, then they're going to think, wait a minute, we need to get shot of this game. You know. I mean, they're arcade games, I suppose, back in the day, that's what you wanted. You wanted to play an arcade game on your home console because, you know, with the best will in the world, you're playing, I don't know, I was going to say you're playing Pole Position. That's a bad example because that's an arcade game. You're playing Pit Stop on the Commodore 64 and this is great. And then you go to the arcade and you see this big cabinet called Outrun. And you're like, wow, and then suddenly you get a few wee teaser photos appearing in Zap of the C64 version. You think, oh, so you wanted arcade versions. But it didn't always make the best games, and that's the thing. I mean,
the hardware for Outrun, which is the same as for Space Harrier, was way above what the Commodore 64 could do decently.
You know, the funny thing is though, and I've noticed that with a lot of games, the games that I thought were absolutely shit back in the day, I look at them now, and yeah, I still think it's shit, but it's not as shit, and I think to myself, because that doesn't make sense. Normally, you would play something and go, "Oh, that was brilliant." I mean, if anything, there's games that I thought were brilliant, and I look at them now and go, "You know what? Like, you can burn me now." Bruce Lee, yeah, I've said it. Bruce Lee was one of my favorite video games of all time. Loved it to bits. I play it now, and I just find, I don't know. It's boring. It doesn't even look that nice. Yeah, the nostalgia part of it. Whereas you get, you know, there's been some old games that, I mean, like Crazy Kong by Interceptor Software, you see that at the start market. And that was awful. I think now there's a certain charm to like really bad games. It's the same way, well, I was going to say bad music. No, you would never want to listen to the Spice Girls, but you know, I was talking to Lycosa a couple of weeks ago, and he would been watching Sharknado.
Oh yeah.
Sharknado. Oh, what do you call it? Exorcism or Exorcist or something. And there is something appealing about watching terrible films. And it's the same. I suppose it's a bit. it's a bit the same. When I play some terrible games, I think the big thing for me is I've not paid $9.99 for it, so you can be more forgiving. So I'm going to stop talking and let you talk for a sec. Because I'm just.
Yeah, that Sharknado has got itself a bit of a cult following, and they keep making more because they're low budget, and people love it. I haven't seen even one of them.
Well, you're lucky. Trust me. top tip: don't. It's all kicking off now. I don't know what's going on there. Your cats were okay.
Oh, there's only one eating now.
He's behaving now. He's behaving himself.
Yeah, the dog's in the room.
Yeah, what's Tony saying here? A difficult thing to balance, I reckon. I guess it would all be in the testing to get the difficulty just right, so players feel like they want another go, which means, yeah, it's all about if a game is too impossible, they're not going to play it. I mean, what, in your opinion, what would you say? Name 3 arcade games that you say are just like fiendishly difficult. From the
we just had one at Terra Cresta.
Really?
That type is fiendishly difficult, but it is playable. It's fun. And again, Defender, that's again fiendishly difficult, but it is playable. It's when you actually get what you want to get done, and you're thinking, "Oh, the hell did I get?" It gives you a sense of achievement, if you know what I mean. Even though you get blown up about 2 seconds later, it still gives you a sense of achievement if you squeeze through a wave of mutants coming at you when you're in space.
Aye. I mean, but obviously Defender, I think people would be hard pushed to argue that Defender's the most difficult video game.
Yes.
Certainly. I mean, something like Missile Command, I can easily get through the first 3 screens.
Yeah,
and then it starts getting difficult.
I get 6 or 7 in that.
I mean, I can get. I don't know. My highest score is about 20,000, which is, I don't know, maybe about 5 or 6 screens. The first couple of levels, the first level you can do with your eyes shut, they're going so slow. Galaxian is difficulties is up there from the off. Obviously, I've seen Dave Charlie Farr playing Galaxian, and when you start getting the 20th level, it's just insane. It's the same with Missile Command. Tony's actually, if you go to Tony's arcade blogger website, he's put up a link to his 2.2 million, was it, Tony, I think? He recorded the videotape I'm saying videotape, it wasn't it? I know Tony and I are old, but I don't think it was a videotape, was it? It's go and watch it. And, you know, after 3 or 4 levels, it just gets boom, boom, boom. And it's the same with a lot of these games. But I think Galaxian, Defender, and I would maybe say, I don't know, Robotron. They're difficult from the off. Yeah.
Again, Robotron is another game I like. Even though it's difficult. I think I've only got past the tank wave once in that. So it's the tank wave is...
Yeah. I think I've managed to. What's your highest score in Robotron, out of curiosity?
I'm not sure. It's about 120,000, something like that.
I've managed to get. I think it's just over 200,000, and the tank level is insanely difficult. I've managed to get past it a few times. I think after you get past that, you get a couple, maybe 3 or 4 easier levels, and then it just gets really hard again. Next brain wave, you're dead. The secret, and Paul Spriggs, who have a good mate of mine, he's been on my channel a few times. He is, I don't know if he's a world champion at any machines, but he's in the top 5 Defender. He's a top 5 Defender player, top 5 Robotron. He's just absolutely insanely good at them. What was I talking about with that? I completely can't remember where I was going with that. What he said to me at Robotron, I was saying, look, you need to give me a couple of tips. And he says, don't run away and shoot. He says, if they're all coming towards you, just shoot in front of you and keep moving. Just blast yourself a hole through them. You know. Yeah. But again, it's one of these games. I mean, I don't think there's an easy arcade game. I think maybe Space Invaders as I say, for longevity, I think you could, even if you were absolutely shit at Space Invaders. I mean, I've watched people playing it on my arcade cabinet, and you're like, why did you die there? I mean, you could see the bullet coming. Why did you move into it? It's so obvious because Space Invaders is like left, right, and fire. There's nothing else to it. So yeah, unless you're absolutely terrible, you should be able to last at least a couple of minutes at Space Invaders. Another game that is, and I'm not saying this because I wouldn't even regard myself as good at it, but Berserk. The reason I started playing that was I thought that's a terrible looking game. And then it just got a hook in me. I thought, it's such a simple looking game. But I mean, my best is just over 20,000. Yeah, just over 20,000. And I remember being at Play Blackpool, Play Glasgow, and there's one of the guys who takes all the cabs along. I was on about 18,000. He's standing over me going, "Oh, that's a good score, mate." And 20,000 is not a bad score. It's not. It's not a bad score. You put somebody in front of Berserk who's never played it before, and I guarantee you'll be lucky if they get past the first level. It's just,
it's so simple to walk into a wall in Berserk.
What's that?
It's so simple. You just walk into a wall in Berserk, and
it's simple, and of course they've got the diagonal bullets and that as well. So I'm just looking at a couple of things here. You Oldie Gamer Steve is saying hard game for me is Ghosts and Goblins, and Tony and Stephen Elliott saying Ghouls and Ghosts, and I think Tony was saying Capcom games. I mean Ghouls and Ghosts and Ghosts and Goblins. I mean I love Ghosts and Goblins a lot. I play it when I say I play it a lot. I don't play it a lot, but I do play it often, which is really the same as playing it a lot. But it's just insanely hard. If I can usually get the furthest I can kind of get is about midway through the second level in it. But you go past the big tenement blocks, and you get these horrible little demons that kind of fall and they run along the ground towards you.
About as far as I get, I think.
What's that?
I think about halfway through the first level is about as far as I normally get.
I could play it 10 times. And that's the thing that I find. It's a bizarre thing. It's like 1942. It's like Donkey Kong. I could play 10 games and die within a couple of minutes, and then the 10th game I'll get like 250,000, and in R-Type I can get a decent score. I think there is a lot to be said for getting into the zone, games that are zonal. I think I don't know. Tony said that himself when he was playing a lot of Missile Command when he was going for a high score. You just kind of become at one with the machine, and you're just like, it's a strange thing. Tony saying there is
controls. You're just automatic, and it becomes instinct. Xavius, that keeps coming up. Xavius is fiendish. The only one of the Xavius series I actually like is 3DG.
The 3G one. I remember seeing that in MAME, and I thought, this is going to be awful. But I think I like it because it's a bit easier.
And the music's good.
Is it? So it's not that
the music's very decent.
Is it really? Yeah. The one bit that I find hard in Xavier, well, it is a hard game, is when you just get, before you get to the sort of big spaceship, you get all these black bombs. Oh. Where are they coming from? What's that
about? Dave played Xavier the other night on his stream, and yeah, got further than anybody else I've seen get. But
that doesn't surprise me.
He played a few versions, and some of them get really hard.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Listen, Cole, we've been online for 40 minutes already. It's like we've hardly
I know, it flies by, doesn't it?
Right, you know what? Before I get more thumbs down, we better answer some questions. I hope if you ask my question, it's an absolute beauty, because you'll be answering it yourself. If I can find it, let's have a wee look. I did.
I can't remember what I answered. I was knackered.
Right. Anyway, let's have a quick look. Mr. Garside, thanks, Al. You're not so bad yourself. Happy New Year. I can't remember what that was about, but thank you very much, Dave. You're not bad yourself, mate. Lactobacillus Prime, Happy New Year. Happy birthday. Happy New Year, Mark. Sandy Ollier, I'm kind of waffling a wee bit. Yeah, mate, that's the point of the waffle, and we all love it just as well because I can talk pish when I want to. Mr. Elliot Stevens, I know Stevens in the chat tonight. A really chilled channel, mate. Good stuff. Yes, after COVID, a meetup sounds good. A few beers, some retro gaming, and a curry after. Yeah, I mean, I've said that all along. I mean, I feel really, really blessed and fortunate that I've made such good friends through YouTube. But nothing replicates actually being able to meet up in real life, you know what I mean? And I'm hoping nobody knows how it's going to go at the moment. Hoping once the vaccine, everybody gets it and things get back to normal, we can get something organised. I mean, I know the UK is a big place, but, you know, anyone up in Scotland that wants a lift, I'm sure. In fact, I think it was at... I can't remember. One of the guys, my fellow Scots, he was saying that I think he works for Arnold Clark. I shouldn't really be mentioning that online, but anyway, he mentioned he got a good deal on a minibus. So I'm sure we could get the Scottish contingent to come down and pick up a few of you Englishers and Welsh people and meet up at Arcade Club. You know, it'd be great just to kind of get together. So that is the plan. Obviously, we just need to wait and see what happens. But that would be really good. The Highlander, happy New Year, Alan. Good waffle as always. I've said this before, but I admire your grassroots approach to your content. See, I take that partially as an insult. Grassroots means it's an earthy channel. It's down and dirty. In other words, shite. No, I don't mean. I mean it's, you know, my video quality is awful. It really is, but I'd like to think it's about the content, it's about the people, and you know. So yeah, thank you very much, Highlander. Here's one here. Colin Jones, I guess you fixed the mirrored video. I did, yes. I did. I didn't fix it. I was recording it on the iPad, and did I have? Yeah, I had it. I was looking at the iPad screen. So yeah, I had it turned around, so it was like a selfie mode, if that makes any sense. Yes. And it was back to front. Everything was back to front. So that's what I didn't know when I put it out. Was it going to record what I see, or was it going to change it? And it changed it. I'd actually forgotten all about it, to be fair. And then you goes, "Oh, I see you fixed it." I went, "Oh, have I?" Bloody hell. Anyway, cracking first waffle of 2021. Here's to many more. Right, here's a question for you, Colin, from yourself. What are the chances? Oh, no, you can't answer this. What are the chances of a live stream on one of your MAME cabs sometime this year? Crappy question, but it is 3:35, 25 to 4 in the morning. That's not really an excuse for a crap question, but that's not a bad question. Yeah, I think what I need to do, the only way for me to, other than trying to bring up my MAME cab up the stairs and put it behind me, I think probably the best way to do that would be just to get my iPad. I mean, I'm like pure technology. I literally balance the iPad and I have like a coffee cup holding it at a certain angle. So that's what I'll do. I mean, I think that would be quite good fun.
You are going to get something. You are going to get something, which is going to help with that, because that green screen stand you just ordered will act as a tripod as well. So you'll be able to set it up.
Right. No, but here's what I could do. Could I? I'm just talking shit. I could just for a change. What I could do is I could record me live. I could do that. I was gonna say I could live stream myself playing the MAME cab, but then having a green screen of my bedroom, so it looks like I'm. I mean, the thing is, I could quite easily just play MAME and use this thing. But where's the fun in that? There is something nice about using an arcade cabinet, and I suppose people will appreciate that. Yeah, the video quality is going to be shite, but it's the fact that you're playing original hardware. I know it's not original hardware, but you know what I mean. So yeah, to answer your question, Colin, yeah, I'll certainly give that a go. What I'll maybe wait for that thing to arrive thing what I bought about 20 minutes ago live on YouTube. Dearie me. Aye. Anyway. I think you got off lightly there, Colin, since you couldn't even answer it. I'm just like I should come up with a question. That'd be interesting. I should come up with a question. Right, okay, here's one for you. Have you got a lot of original hardware?
Not a huge amount. I've got a Commodore 64 and an Amiga. That's the main ones.
Right.
I've got a few little bits and pieces like that cheap console and things I've won, like a Wonder Swan, but not a hell of a lot because I haven't got an awful lot of room for it. I will definitely, even if it's more than 400 quid now, I think I'll just up my limit to 500. I'm going for a Mega 65 as well. Because no, you can even now, it's only in the beta stages, but you could even now get a Spectrum core for that thing.
For the
Mega 65. Yeah. Yeah, ZX Uno has been ported from the Mister.
That's mental.
But yeah, I'm also very tempted, probably not when it first comes out, but very tempted by the Commander X16, which is the new retro computer that's being designed and built. Commander X16.
Commander.
It's the one being done by the 8-bit guy, or at least it was his idea, and everybody else is chipping in with ideas. And Perifractic, and that is also very involved with it.
What's it called, Commander?
Commander X16.
All right. As opposed to Commodore. Can you just imagine saying to your mum, "Oh, mum, I would love a Commander X16," and you open it up and you get a Commodore 16. All right, okay. I'm not going to bother sharing anything because the guy's just looking at a board. How powerful is the C6? No, I've never even heard of that. Man, there's a video from a year ago, so I mean, it's the 8-bit guy's dream computer. So that's what it was, right?
Yeah. It does have an emulator. And that's quite advanced as well. So yeah, it's coming along. But I don't think I'll be first in the queue for one of those. That'll be a later purchase.
Aye. Thing is, we've reached the stage now where all these new systems, whether it's a mini SNES or mini PlayStation or like even that thing over there, the Spectrum Next, they're all just, I'm not going to say Raspberry Pis, but they're all just, I'm going to call it a PC. It's a personal computer. It's a computer that can basically run whatever it wants. So where does like something like the Spectrum Next differ from the Mega, what's it, Commodore M65, whatever it's called?
It's very similar. They are very similar because they're both FPGA based. That's the core that's running it, and that's like the FPGA is basically a processor that you can rewire inside. Basically, it's all. And we got another one coming in. It's FPGA is what chip designers use to design chips to put their prototypes on, and so basically you're running on sort of original hardware, although they can be much upgraded, of course.
Right. How does like the Mister differ?
Mister again is FPGA.
So how
FPGA.
How does like say that the Spectrum Next differ from the Mister?
It's ready built. It's all there together. It's designed to be as good a Spectrum as it possibly can be. Whereas a Mister, you build it from the ground up. You add what pieces you want onto it.
So in effect, there's your dinner arrived, Colt. There's your pizza arrived. I just saw a bite of that. And was that a munchie box from the kebab shop?
That's from earlier.
Because I know I've seen things on online. You can get what do you call it? You can get like different cores for for the Spectrum Next, so you can turn it into a Commodore 64, or you can turn it into whatever you want. So is it? I mean, what you saying is the Spectrum. I don't know why I keep looking behind it. It's not moving. Is the Spectrum Next like similar to Mister? Then is that kind of what you're saying?
Very similar. Yes, it can be recoded in a similar way. The Mister, of course, is designed to be expanded. The Spectrum Next isn't designed with so much expansion in mind. Of course, you can put the Pi Zero in there, so you can run tap files and stuff. But yeah, they're all very similar. I mean, we got the Raspberry Pi based systems, or the system on a chip based systems, which are emulator based. They are running on modern processors and they're emulator. But the FPGA is trying to recreate the original hardware in hardware. People don't like it being called emulation. It is in a way. It's more an implementation. Implementation is what they call it, rather than emulation. Pokemon Go.
What was I going to say there? Sorry, what's Stephen saying there? Let's have a wee look.
Yeah. That's exactly what I mean. It's more. You can add bells and whistles to the original hardware with an FPGA. It's not just limited to a Z80. You can, as long as there's enough room on the FPGA chip, you can put more modules in there. As I say, it's emulating 3 sound chips, giving you extra memory.
It's funny how like some people get. There's a lot of people that get very upset when, it's emulated, and people going about like there are haters out there who they hate any of these mini systems. Oh, it's not a real SNES, it's emulation, it's a Raspberry Pi. Who cares?
Okay, don't buy it.
Exactly.
People who like it, buy it.
If you want to wait on Nintendo saying, you know what, let's bring out the SNES and we'll remanufacture all these chips, well, you're going to wait a long, long time. So things have moved on. It's not the 80s anymore. We've moved on sort of 30, 40 years ago. If it's a PC, whatever you want to call it, at the heart of it, and it's running code that happens to look like a SNES, and you stick it into a SNES case, then who really cares? Who cares? And people just they really get they get so upset when you mention emulation and Raspberry Pi is not the real thing. I mean, Tony, when I'm kind of deviating a wee bit, but when I was moving into my own house, I thought, you know what, I'm going to get myself an arcade cabinet. And I said to Tony, I says, look, I'm looking for my Galaxian Berserk, and he went, well, he says, 1, you're going to need 1,500 quid. He says, 2, you're going to need to be able to take the CRT out and solder it and whatever, and that was me out right away. He says, and thirdly, he says, you will get to a point possibly where you've got buyer's remorse. You're sitting having your fish fingers and chips, and you're looking across at this Galaxian cabinet sitting in the corner that you've never switched on for 2 months because
it only does one thing.
Because it doesn't boot up. So what do? You go upstairs and you fire up MAME and you play it perfectly. Oh, I think I'll have a game of Berserk. I think I'll play Defender. He says, look, best tip for you, Al, go and get yourself a MAME cab. He says, that way you can just, because, I think Tony says that the emulation's pretty good. Same with John Studley. Dave himself did ask Dave, Charlie Farr, about how because Dave's got an original, I think he's got an original. Have you got an original machine, Dave? I think you have, Galaxian. And he said that the timing is just slightly different, through MAME. But for your average punter that's just wanting to load up games and play them, then what is wrong with emulation? You know what I mean? I don't get it.
Most of us haven't got warehouses that we can keep it all in.
Aye, exactly. I mean, in an ideal world, I would love to have a huge basement. I would love to have somebody that could just go and fix them for me. You know what I mean? That would be wonderful.
Bit of clarity from somebody who actually knows it.
Well, one of my friends, Neil, he's got a Mister. He's got the newer one, and what was it? Neil that said that, or somebody else said it? It might have been somebody in one of my live streams, and he said that the thing about a Mister, and he tried to explain to me, he says when you're running like Gauntlet on the Mister, you are running Gauntlet. Yeah, it's for all intents and purposes, it's Gauntlet, the arcade machine, because it basically takes on the forum off that machine, whatever. And what somebody said, I can't remember if it was Neil or whatever, he says having the Mister is like the excitement of MAME from the early days. Were you into MAME from an early start, or were you a late? Were you?
Very early.
1997. That's when I first
Steve's, I can't remember the exact name of the site now, but there was one site that
Video Game Classics, was it?
Yeah, that's the one. yeah, you used to go on drum set. Yeah, back in 96, 97, when I just had a Pentium 75.
Brilliant. 90s. That back in the good old days when you just basically went to MAME ROMs, download, and you went highlight, download all.
Yeah.
None of this.
And then wait 30 minutes because you only had dial-up.
I remember when Neo Geo games are introduced. It's like 1.1 meg. Oh Christ, that's going to take. I first. I've told again the story again. My mate phoned me up one day and he says, "Yo, I have got something which you are literally you're just going to go, oh my god!" And what is it? He says, "I've got the original Galaxian on a disc." What do you mean? It's the arcade one. I could not. What do you mean it's on a disc? It's the arcade Galaxian, and I've also got Space Invaders and a couple of other things. Oh. And then he came up to the house with these discs, and I just remember putting in, it was the disc, whatever it was, MAME.exe space galax.zip or whatever the hell it was, and then suddenly you get the boot screen.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And then it goes, and then suddenly there it is, no sound, but that didn't matter, and that was just like, wow, that was like it was jaw dropping. And whilst the excitement has probably left, it's still I still get excited the fact that I'm playing an arcade game on my computer.
Oh yeah, we have come a long way in such a short time.
The fact that we've now got PCs and graphics cards that allow you to outrun perfectly. I mean, I think my PC can now run Ridge Racer 2, 60 frames a second. It's just like, God, that game, 20 years, 30 years ago would have probably cost the best part of $2,000, and here I am playing it on a, just insane. But what you obviously you touched on Dave's Video Game Classics, and I remember, and when I first once I got MAME, one of my pals, he got the internet. Oh, so we used to go into his house. I said, "Could you download the Rolling Thunder?" So we went Rolling Thunder, zip, download it, put it on. So it's like MAME space or .exe space R Thunder. ROM's not found. Open up WinZip. There's the ROMs there. Oh, it's not. What we didn't we thought that if we got any arcade game, it would just run it. We didn't realise that they had to be added. But then once we realised they had to be added, I'd just been promoted at work, and I had my own office, and the internet was a thing. We had email, and going to Yahoo, and then Dave's Video Game Classics. So then I used to order floppy disks on petty cash, and then I would be like, emails, Dave Video Game Classic. I'll download a couple of Neo Geo games, but I had to unzip them. Because like one Neo Geo would be across 3 discs. Then I'd have to go home and then I'd transfer them. So I was going into work, downloading these ROMs, putting them onto floppy disks, taking them home, copying them across, RARing them, or not RARing, RAR wasn't a thing, one-zipping them up, or PK unzipping them, or zipping them, whatever it was. And then every couple of days, you'd go to Dave's Video Game Classics, and it'd be like, read me next game, yeah, Kung Fu. You're like, oh, and it was like Christmas. It was like the Christmas that kept giving.
Yeah. Keep checking the updates.
Just and now we're saturated. Just got everything. I've not updated MAME for 5 years, 6 years. I don't see any point in doing it at all. But yeah, getting back to what I was talking about, my mate said, yeah, having the Mister getting new supported games is like, oh, brilliant, I can play this, I can play that. But back in 1987, being a Scottish person who lived in central Scotland, most of the arcade games, there was only a handful of games that I got to play in arcades. I could write them off, probably about a dozen games, if that. Every other game, like your Kung Fu's, Slap Fight, Greenberries, the only version of these I knew was the home versions. And then fast forwards, 20 years later, and I'm loading up Rolling Thunder. The arcade one, wow. And that's why when people say to me, if you had to just have one system, obviously you go for a PC because you can play anything on a PC, but it would be MAME, because out of any games that, it would be MAME. Absolutely. There's just so much there. Anyway, how are we doing for time? Blimey, that's another. Let's quickly the questions. Hopefully there's not too many. Let's have a wee look. You oldie gamer Stephen R. Fine Waffle. Thank you, sir. I think I've done that one. No, I haven't done that one, actually. Right, Ian Batchelor. Happy New Year. Your channel is by far one of the best. I have on my subscription list. Well, you've obviously not got very many, but anyway, thank you. You're very kind. You are listed with Red Letter Media and the Angry Video Game Nerd. I didn't even know he was still a thing. I thought he was one of the original YouTubers. I don't know. Your Sunday live streams are now part of my weekend. You must never stop doing them. It's funny that of any videos that I do, people, I think I've only missed maybe only missed 2, maybe 3. I shove Friday Waffles. Now, that's not bad going since 2014. That's the best party, like, was that 7 years?
Not bad going at all.
That's not bad going. How I can still talk pish for all that time. I think that the Sunday live stream has become a thing that people look forward to. I think it's just because Sundays are crap. Maybe not for yourself because you work shifts, but for the average person, Sunday nights are rubbish. And so I was going to say something good to look forward to, but I understand it. It's all about it's a bit of tradition. I love when I'm sitting watching the little clock ticking down. I can see all the comments and they're like, "Hiya, how you doing? Oh, hi, Colin. Oh, hi, Lewis." The guy's back again. Brilliant. Let's have a wee look. Lacoza is a legend. Yep, I'm from Southend, and as soon as I saw him, I knew he was a Southerner. Keep on keeping on, mate. Del Boy, Happy New Year. A very basic question. When looking at film eras, and this is to you, Colin, as well, when looking at film eras, 30s, that's interesting. He goes 30s, 60s, 80s, etc. What was your favourite era and why? What one film stands out for that era? I think for me, it's going to have to be the 1980s, just because that was the year where I became a man and discovered women, and just it was a happy time for me. And there's lots of classic 80s films. What about yourself, Colin? What would you say if you had to?
Late 70s, early 80s. That was the time I watched most movies, maybe even up to the early 90s. That's my favourite time. Though there were some classics from the 50s and 60s, and especially with the B-movie science fictions. But my favourite time for movies, definitely late 70s, early 80s.
I suppose kids like my daughter's age, they're going to say, "Oh yeah, I loved, I don't know, like modern films," but I can't imagine anyone, or maybe certainly nobody our age, is going to go, Oh, my favourite film has got to be Avengers Infinity. What a film that was. It's just like, it's like fast food. Yeah. You go into the pictures, your eyes glaze over, you sit and eat your popcorn, you finish your popcorn before the adverts have even finished. And then you come out and you go, think of that then. That was all right.
I'm not a fan of, I know they're popular. I'm not a fan of any modern superhero films because they just tend to focus on special effects and how much destruction they can put through.
I think
they're all the same.
Yeah.
They've got maybe slightly different plot lines, but when it comes down to it, to me, they're all the same. Not criticizing anybody else who wants to watch them. They're popular, but not for me.
I'm exactly the same. And I think films and video games go hand in hand. There's, a lot. I'm not seeing every film or every game, but they're just, it's all about, the fur coat, no knickers. I mean, it's all about the window dress, and then you actually go into the shop, you realise that there's nothing there. Nothing at all.
Having said that, I got this for Christmas.
What's that? Oh,
it's an Infinity Glove mug. I didn't know I was getting this.
Nice, very nice. So, yeah, you older gamer Steve. I find superhero films boring as piss. Yeah, I think they're just. It's just, as I say, it's like fast food. It scratches an itch, but as soon as you come out, you'll go.
That's an ideal way of putting it. Fast food.
It's just fast food films. Yeah, I mean, if you said to me, "Have I seen Avengers Infinity?" I'd go, "I think I've seen it." I think I've seen it. I don't know what happened. I know Iron Man was in it. I think the Hulk was in it. But it's just like a lot of films now, and not every film, but a lot of films now. It's all about. It's just about set pieces. I don't want to give too much away for a video that's coming out next week, but it's all about car chases and people now that they've kind of discovered how to have CGI. Like, I think one of the things about CGI in the early days was it just kind of looked, and it's the same with video games. It didn't really play. Everything was slightly slower than real life, so it looked false. But now, when you see like the Hulk smashing up Thor, it's like boom, 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 and it's really fast and all that. So you have all these different set pieces. And
that was when where you say about that, they think that was very Loki. I'm a god. I actually laughed at that. That was just hilarious. I think that was the best part of any Avengers film I've caught a glimpse of, because I haven't watched any from beginning to end. It's
quite sad when you think of I don't know what the budget was for something like that, and your favourite bit was a 5-second clip. And it was just amusing. It was mildly amusing, and that's about it. But anyway, yeah. So nice question, Ian. Thank you for that. No, that was Dale, actually. Thank you, Dale. The Peller, loved that new tune. Long time no hear. I was going to ask about a meetup, but that's at the rear end. Got a retro thing for you to review. Oh, I did actually see. Hang on a second. Yeah, you've got a retro thing for me to review. Fantastic. Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, that tune, the tune for the Friday Waffle was actually my mate Mark Stoneham, who did appear. Mark was in the 12-hour live stream. He worked for Hornby Hobbies. He did. He was the was it the Action Replay, or what was the other one? There was Action Replay cartridge, and then there was the other one. I can't remember what it was. Mark was basically, if you phoned up the Action Replay helpline, Mark was the guy that would give you tips. Anyway, Mark kind of dabbles with. I think he actually did that tune using GarageBand on his iPad. Damned impressive, and I just love the 80s, the whole 80s ambience to it. So yeah, that's a really nice tune. Ben Dust, many thanks for what you do in here, Al. Thank you very much. I'll name just two of the many. You've made Sundays something to look forward to for a lot of people. And your channel, contributors and community is passionate, mature, friendly and grown up. Don't know about mature, but yeah. You know what? I couldn't say it better myself. Yeah, but I think you've just absolutely summed it up. You've summed up what a really nice, community it is. And thank you very much for your nice comments. And that's always any time that I've kind of been flagging a wee bit on the YouTube front, and it does happen. You do go through phases where you're maybe not feeling it, whatever, and it just takes somebody to say, somebody to say, "Oh, I love doing that," or whatever. It just makes a massive, massive difference. Cold Enough Stardust, we've got a winning duo tonight, Ponder and MAME Meister. How much did he pay you, Calden? Nah, not at all. It's always good to have my friends on. Sorry, I'm kind of rushing. I'm just conscious of time. I'll need to get going in a wee minute. Catherine Tyson, good evening, Catherine. Hello, Alan. Just to say, I've missed your last couple of streams as my PC has developed problems, and at best it only works for 5 to 6 minutes before turning itself off. I will be back when I get it fixed. Take care and stay safe. Your absence was noted, Catherine, in the last couple of Sunday streams. I wish I'd known you weren't in, because I could have probably sworn more, because Catherine has single-handedly but I hope what to do, Catherine, is pop the in below the comments. I don't know if Catherine's on Discord. But yeah, what to do is put down below what's wrong with your PC, because there's some clever people that watch the channel that would probably be able to give you a good idea of what's maybe causing it. What would you say yourself, Colin? A PC that's turning off after 5-6 minutes, possibly memory processor?
It could be memory. It could be something as bad as the motherboard, or it could be something as simple as cleaning out the fan.
Because I know Lacosa had a problem, and I think was his memory related. I can't remember. His PC would just suddenly switch off. So yeah, that's a few things to try. So what was it again, Colin? You said, well,
the first thing I try is open it up and have a look what the fan's like. See if it's gunked up. Make sure the fan's actually turning as well, because if you can get an air duster as long as you're careful with them. You don't want to turn them upside down, because when it pours out the liquid, it's not good for anything. But if you get an air duster or a paintbrush, small 1/2-inch paintbrush, go through it with that. There are more invasive ways of doing it, like taking off the heatsink and fan and refitting it with fresh heatsink paste and all that lot. But yeah, first thing I check is the dust. Make sure it's dust free, or get as much dust off as you can.
Yeah. Good evening, Adam. How you doing, buddy? Adam, Amiga Old School, he's saying the CPU fan, which would obviously be overheating. And Dale Boy, good evening, Dale. I did text you earlier on. Thermal shutdown, that's something. I mean, it's not going to fix it, but yeah, that's
exactly what I mean. Yeah,
that could be one of the problems.
As long as that fan's turning and circulating air, it should keep it cool enough to avoid thermal shutdown. But you've got to get the dust out and make sure that the fan's turning. If the fan's not turning, it's a simple replacement of the fan, and they're not that expensive.
It's like having an episode of Games Master. You're the Games Master, and what's your dear Games Master? My PC keeps shutting down. Yeah, fantastic. Anyway, so I hope you're back. Hope you get things sorted quick, Catherine. And we've got Wee Bob. I never like calling him Wee Bob, because Bob's taller than me and I'm not the tallest. But anyway, that's what he likes to be called. So we're going to call Wee Bob. Great listening along again. Sorry I've missed quite a few videos, but I usually get around to listening to them, even if it's 6 months down the line. That's the beauty of my channel. It doesn't really age. Everything I talk about is old anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you watch it in a year's time. All the best for 2021. Question for next week. You walk into an arcade. What type of music is playing in the background? Needs to be a song that would be likely in an arcade, so no Slayer. You walk into an arcade. What type of music is playing that would make you blast all those aliens just that wee bit more ferociously? So... yeah, what do you think, Col? If you had to, in other words, what one piece of music or type of music would you like when you're playing arcades?
Well, it's not my favourite genre, but it's quite high up, and I've never done it. I've never done acid, but acid house is good for getting the adrenaline going and getting you into into a rhythm.
Yeah.
Ebenezer good, that sort of thing. You know, light acid, not the heavy acid music, which you really got to be high for. But yeah, I like the old acid house with the 303 and 808 machines.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if music would make me play. I mean, I suppose if I was to kind of pick what music would you want when you're playing it would probably have to be like Metallica, maybe AC/DC. But if I'm playing, I mean, I think I was telling Panther actually a couple of weeks ago. I was downstairs, playing my arcade cabinet. I had it up nice and loud, and I've wired up. I need to be careful. My Alexa. I've wired that up to my because every time have you got any in the house? No.
I've got the other one, the Google one.
Oh right. I was putting I've got that wired up to 2 big speakers, and I was sitting playing some games, and I put on some Howard Jones. Massive fan of Howard Jones, loved him in the 80s. Not Metallica so much. I got into rock a wee bit later on, but the video games to me, especially the C64 and that, it's always going to be, soft rock, Marillion, Depeche Mode, Howard Jones, Phil Collins, all that kind of stuff. But I think if I had to listen to some music and I was playing a shooter, it would probably be a bit of AC/DC or Metallica, something like that, I think. So anyway, wee Bob, thank you very, very much. ZX Renew, hey up, Al, you need to check out some of the newer Vectrex cartridges. I have the Pytrex, which allows MAME vector graphics, MAME vector games in the Vectrex. Have you seen that, Colin? You can play. There is a version. Sorry,
I know it's been mentioned. It's been mentioned in the Discord, but I've been pouring the old ketchup over a lot of things lately because I just haven't had time to step in properly. But I'd seen it mentioned, so it'd be nice to. I think I'd have to have a look at that just for interest.
That would be nice. I mean, the ability to run, the ability. I mean, I think somebody asked me a couple of weeks ago about what would be the ultimate upgrade, and I think I said like a Vectrex with color, with more memory and the ability to play asteroids. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. And then Carol Todd, Happy New Year, Alan. When you talk about a more powerful Vectrex, just as I mentioned, I think that the Pytrex may be something. It'll interest you. Pytrex is a project that is being developed where a Pi Zero takes the form of a Vectrex cartridge, and then it disables the Vectrex CPU, and it just uses the Vectrex for the monitor speakers. Wow! So it's effectively just using the vector monitor. That would be.
That's tell you that.
That would be nice. That sounds really, really nice. Something obviously way above me, but yeah. And Carol's very kindly given me some. I'll tell you what. Let's have a quick. I know we're kind of running. Let's.
Hello.
Right, I'm just going to turn down. Let's do a quick share. So this is.
Oh, it's Tail Gunner.
Look at the speed of that. That's running. Wow. That is impressive. Now that is running at full speed. That's impressive. Right, we obviously want Star Wars. Is that not Star Castle? Oh, Lunar Lander.
Gravitar.
Is it Gravitar? Is it?
Yeah.
Pytrex. Black Widow. That is impressive. Yeah, very impressive. Very, very impressive indeedly. Oh, hang on, I've just lost all the questions. I think that was the last.
Whoops.
Right, here we go. This is the last one from Mr. Swith. I can't even pronounce it. Swinbuckle. Is Milfy in tonight? Did I see him? I think I did. I think I did see Milfy. Can you see the comments, Colin? You can, eh?
Yeah, I can see the comments.
Anyway, question for next Waffle. Which company from back in the day do you think is overrated? My controversial opinion would be the Bitmap Brothers. Just something about their games that I find a bit lacking. All being fancy graphics, sound effects, and music over actual gameplay. For example, Rocket Ball was a far, far superior sequel to Speedball. Chaos Engine was overrated. Gods was a bit shite. I'll let you answer that first, Colin, because I'm going to be... Hey, how you doing, Milfy?
I'm going to go with Ocean. For the main reason is most of their stuff was arcade conversion licenses, and most of it, more of the budget went into the license than went into the game itself. Even though they did produce a few cracking things, quite a lot of their stuff was absolute tosh.
Well, can I be honest? I'm going to be honest. When I saw, when I read the question, and I know I will be interviewing Gary Bracey at some point, so I need to be careful, but I was going to say Ocean. Ocean were one of the earliest video games companies, and the stuff that they put out in the early 80s, when you consider what it was up against, Interceptor software and some dire stuff, their stuff was definitely a better standard. Personally, I think, and this is just my opinion, I kind of felt that the late 80s, 90s, I think they kind of lost it, although they probably made more money, because I was never a fan of movie licenses, because it was all about what we're talking about earlier on. It's just like certain scenes. Robocop, you've got to kill the guy and he's got the hostage, whatever. I just, nah. And as you say, a lot of the, I mean, I suppose when you, if you think about how many games Ocean put out, there was I wouldn't say thousands, but it must have been hundreds of games. And I suppose if you're putting out that many games, there's going to be some that are going to be pretty not so good. They did put out some great games. As you say, a lot of them were arcade conversions. But that was my initial, when I saw Milfy's question, that was the one I thought, yeah, Ocean. But I've got to agree with him with Bitmap Brothers. I was always excited when a Bitmap Brothers game came out, and then when I played it, I'm like, oh. Like the first Xenon was way too difficult. I mean, you're trying to play it and it keeps jumping between being a spaceship, and then it goes to that, and you're like, stop it. And it just keeps changing all the time. The second Xenon 2, it was all about the music. The game itself, it looked nice. The fur coat, no knickers analogy springs to mind. It didn't play that well. I don't know what frames per second. It wasn't jerky, but it was quite sluggish, and and Magic Pockets was crap. Chaos Engine, again, it was all about the graphics. And I know a lot of people would disagree with me. Speedball, I've never got any Speedball. Never. I've tried to play. I've played it recently in some live streams, and I just don't really get it. It just doesn't. It doesn't do it for me at all.
Yeah, I like games like Jumpman and Space Taxi. You've got absolute crap graphics, but they're very, very playable games, and I'll put playability over graphics any day of the week.
Exactly. Beam Rider, brilliant game.
Yeah,
I mean, and another company which I don't know whether they were overrated, but looking at them again, I mean, Psygnosis Software. Did Psygnosis actually put out any decent games? I mean, okay. Lemmings was good, but that was a really... Wait a minute, hang on a second. The one game that we both agree was one of their best games. It had, I wouldn't say shit graphics, but the graphics were minimal. You didn't look at Lemmings and go, oh my God, come and look at the graphics. And this, it was about the playability. Yeah. Every game that I've played loads of Psygnosis games and live streams. and you realise, God, this is actually a bit shit, you know. And even the later games, you know, I mean, your Shadow of the Beasts and that kind of stuff. It was all your cat's taking an absolute flaky, by the way. I think.
She's on one. She's on one. I don't know what she's doing, but she's on one.
Stolen the limelight. Yeah. So yeah, I would agree with you, Bitmap Brothers. I think because I actually can't think of any real good game that they brought out. Controversial, I know, but yeah. And I said Ocean, there was a lot of crap. They did bring out some really good stuff. The cat just literally sprung. It just jumped into the. I don't know if somebody knew it, but she just literally sprung into action. Right, listen, but obviously people are now more interested in looking at the cat, so I think it's time for you and I to get going. Just yeah, and Juan Jose. So strange for me here in New Zealand. We've been COVID-free since April. Normal life, no distancing, no masks. 50,000 crowds at sporting events. Yet the rest of the world is... Alan, I've been listening for years, but under the legendary Whizball name. Thank you very, very much, Juan. Listen, thank you very, very much to everybody that watched the video tonight. Special big thank you to you, Colin, for joining me with about 2.5 minutes notice. Sorry for taking over your kitchen. I hope your missus and your kids don't mind too much. Yeah, listen, I'll be back on Sunday. I've not even thought about what it's going to be. I'll come up with something. I'll post it in Facebook down below. Again, I thank you very much for watching it, guys. Have an excellent weekend. Same to yourself, Colin. As always, cheers. Take care,
And have a good day. And have a good time from me. Have a great weekend. And enjoy yourselves. Thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, lads. See ya.
Ta-ra now.